Okay.
Get your marp on.
Get our marp on.
Yes, dog.
It's gonna be a good video. It's gonna be a good video. Look at that nose. And here I emerge from the garage, holding a bottle of tongue oil. We're outside now, in the back. I'm gonna open this tongue oil with a hammer, because it's easier to do it that way. Because my fingers are blunt. I only have one of these gloves. An obvious lie, because I had two, but only one of them works. So this is gonna be my other glove. As far as bags go, Target bags are pretty thick and really useful. So this is the painted for this. It's actually, so it was previously treated. Here, listen to me tell this boring story. But it has this piece of leather on the bottom. Ordinarily, I would just pour it. Yeah, okay. Like this, I got it. I'm not going to do that because I don't want it to get on the leather bit. As it so happens, I actually poured it on the leather bit anyway, and then I just doubled down and poured it on again. So, a lot of times... Sometimes making a mistake twice in a row is the way to go. Even if you've treated them before, you can do this roughly like once per year because they'll just... The gourds get a good... They love this stuff and they'll just eat it. They love it. So they eat it. You hold it like at an angle. And you pour it on the inside like this. Then it'll get all the way down. It'll kind of go slowly. What I'm trying to explain here is something like because you're pouring it slowly, it's gonna have time to soak into the sides rather than just pooling at the bottom. Get some good coat on the inside. And the inside will absorb, especially if you've never treated it before, the inside, you can do this like like you do this and you let it dry for a day or two and then do it again and 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 do it again for a while until it seems like it's decently coated because it absorbs into the wood. And then for the outside, you really just need like one solid coat. Or perhaps two. This stuff, because it doesn't really absorb on the outside. Here I go, I'm wiping it around on the side there just to make sure it's thoroughly coated. Trying not to spill it all over the place, although I am somewhat. This is a big board. In the background here, you can hear a truck on the freeway. So I'm just getting it a good coat. A good coat. So... hopefully rotating it around, so like rotating it around like this. If you turn it around like I'm doing in this video, then you're giving the tongue oil on the inside time to soak into some of the places that it hasn't had time to soak into thoroughly. Otherwise it will just pool on the bottom, like I said before. leftovers floating around in the bottom. It's like totally absorbed. But it will drip for a little while. So this will take at least like a couple days to like really fully dry.
Or weeks.
If not longer.
Do you leave it in the sun?
Leave it in the sun. And I've built this wonderful thing that I've used for many years. But it still works.
The thing that's incredibly ironic about this video is that immediately after putting this gourd on that particular one, it snapped off later in the day. So after years of service, it finally broke.
And also super sticky, like it's hard to get off your hands.
It's all over your arm.
It's hard to get off. It's hard to get gloves off too.
Are those just regular kitchen gloves?
Yeah.
We have more of those, by the way.
Yeah, but they're like...
It's gonna ruin the gloves that you use to do this.
Anyway. So these I treated several days ago. I'm still letting them dry in the sun just because they're like still a little smelly.
I actually personally enjoy the smell, but a lot of people don't.
Yeah, the fumes are intense.
That's that. That's it.
Do you want to put the gloves on the thing?
No.
So the gloves dry? Who's this for?
It's for you.
It's for you.
It's for you.
It's for you. It's for you. It's for you.
So,
we're gonna tie this knot.
Here we have what looks like toilet paper. Demonstrating how to do this complicated knot, which is, by the way, not necessary. This is just
an example. So,
it's just a stylistic choice.
I'm keeping tension here, my foot.
You can completely opt out of this part.
So, make a little thing like this.
I'm over-exaggerating the motions here.
And then you're wrapped around like that. And then you grab the tense part here. And don't let this go, but you are now holding the tension here in your finger. And then this can pull taut. Alright? And then you hold this knot, then with your other hand, and you go back, you get the next one.
Doing this slow is actually more difficult than doing it quickly, because it's easier when you do it quickly to have your motions be consistent.
And this is hard to be consistent with, but consistency is key for this to be cool. But if you can do this steadily and quickly, it'll be kind of consistent. Anyway, kind of looks like that. And then the beauty of this is that you can just do it. Alright, so one more time. I suppose you can just rewind the video, but maybe I'll do it better.
Once more with feeling.
One more time. Do it really closely. Alright, sorry. Too many fingers. Alright. So once I've got that, I can just pull it through. And I'm going to grab this. Grab the next. So I'm going down. Grab the next bit. Okay, you can kind of slide it up and down like a necktie here.
Necktie.
Necktie. There you go. Alright, time for the real shit.
Okay. Now, here's a video of me doing it, and I'm watching Netflix at the same time. So I'm getting started here, making that same silly knot that I was just demonstrating. I use like 3 strings in a row to sort of like increase the circumference a bit of the strand, because the littler strands are going to hook onto it later. And as I said before, this part is unnecessary. You can just use like one thicker string, or just doesn't even have to be thicker really, it just has to be sturdy, like a nice solid string. Anyway, you get these 3 strands in play. 3 is just kind of like the magic number because it's at least for the thickness of string that I'm using, it's easy to deal with. I'm doing the same knot as I was doing in the video there, and then here I go. I'm starting to just pull through the strand in my left hand. Every time I pull one through, I'm moving it over a bit, and I'm controlling the tension with my left foot of the string. That's why I'm sitting on that cajon. Sometimes it gets messed up. See, look, I messed it up. All right, here I go, starting again. Sometimes you make mistakes. You just have to live with them. Or you have to go back and change them. I guess those are the 2 options. So this is difficult because it might take you a couple of times to get the length correct. The length of this strand that you're making here has to be appropriate for, so you make 2 of them. You make one for the top of the chekere and one for the bottom. And for each gourd is a little bit different, so it's going to depend on how well it fits around and where exactly you want it to lie. If you're doing it exactly this way, the way I'm doing it, you can expect that there will be some stretch that will happen later, so you can make it tighter than it needs to be. Yeah, all right. Okay. I think I messed it up again and I restarted, and I forgot to start it again, but here's the finished version. So this is how you close up the end of the knot once you got the length right. And I think for some reason I didn't film this, but you want to check it around the gourd to make sure it's the exact right length that you want it to be before closing it up, because obviously I'm cutting it so it's making this knot permanent. So I'm cutting off the ends and tying them all together using square knots, and then one big fatty square knot to rule them all. I don't know if if you look at my chekeres, I have like, these parts are always very identifiable because I have these big, fat, redundant knots with lots of string. Because they actually do kind of like, over time, these knots sneakily become undone. You don't want that. You don't want that to happen to your gourd. You don't want the knots to become undone at all, because it feels bad when you play it. It doesn't feel good. Actually, it feels fine. It's just like, whatever, man. Alright, here's a gourd. I'm showing you how flawlessly I did that. Alright, this is like, I don't know, like the next day or something? It might be the next day. I am now beginning to thread I'm using red cord here, so it's impossible to see, which is a great choice, right? Alright, so I make a loop, probably can't see that at all, and then I'm hooking it into the thing there with that's some sewing tool. It's like a hook. Anyway, I just use it to like put it through. I put it through the gourd there, and then you just pull the ends through the loop, and it attaches around the side there. I'll do it a couple more times here, but I do realize that that's impossible to see. And here we have Oscar. In this video, you see my cat Oscar, also known as Little Lisey. He makes big purr sounds sometimes when he stands on that stool. Here he is up close. Sometimes you gotta take a break from making Chekere and pay attention to your pets. This is like his favorite spot. He likes to sit here. I'm petting him. He likes that. Whoops, looks like somebody knocked over the camera. Who was it? Who knocked over the camera? Who's responsible? I wonder, who could it be? I guess we'll never know. There's no way to find out now. Do you like that pitch? Can you hear this? Can you hear that pitch? I'm just gonna hold it for a little bit. Look at that paw. Alright, that's enough of that pitch. Back again. I'm showing you how good I did it. The beating begins. Oh, a lighter. So why is the lighter important, you wonder, out loud? Well, the string I'm using is made of nylon, so it's synthetic. What I can do with the lighter, as I'm doing here, is I can burn the ends of the string and make them sharp and pointy, which is super critical for getting them through these thin little beads that I'm going to be using, because it's not super small. It's not super small string in diameter. Here I am, I'm watching Netflix, getting some beads out. But for this first row, I'm going to go through each one, and I'm going to light them on fire with the lighter to make it easier Because if I do it now, do it the first time, then all the rows that follow are going to be easier to do. So here I am, get 2 beats. Come on, you can do it. Stop watching the show. Stop watching the show. Get it together. Get it together. All right. I'm pulling the beads up to the top part here of the gourd. There we go. Come along. Doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Augmented chords. So when I'm done that, I'm tying just a little square knot. Just simple, normal square knot. You learned it in grade school. I kind of hate how in pop songs people they'll just do this. I guess it's not that bad. It's got its moments, right? I'm just oversaturated with people ignoring the fact that they have a sus and a third at the same time. It'll be like this. It'll be like something like that, which is fine. As a passing moment, it's fine, but it's just ill-considered because you've got that, which is also fine. It's just not, nobody thought about it, so think about this. Let's think about this chord. It wants to go somewhere by its very nature. I like chords that where it's not clear what the root note is. For example, something like, I mean, obviously this is almost never not contextual, but sometimes you have to take a break from making a Chekere and go outside and see the world. Go to somewhere that you haven't been before, for example. It helps you process what you've gone through previously, I think. Also, someone told me this once, and it seems to be, well, it makes sense at least, that like there's something about when like your eyeball sees like a far distance that you get some type of serotonin happening, which is interesting. I mean, and it kind of makes sense. Like obviously we like things on a massive, we like to see things on a massive scale, whatever they are, even if it's just like a big building or like being able to see far away is something that is somehow important to our human experience, which is pretty interesting. So, we're lucky that we live by the ocean. We can just go see it whenever we want to. Even when you're technically breaking the law, shelter in place. Should we talk about the constitutionality of shelter in place? Or even more so, how about, let's talk about curfews. How are those legal? Like, I know that there's, okay, there's reasons for shelter in place, but it seems like the only reason for curfew is just to arrest people. What is the other, what reason could you want to have a curfew for? It doesn't seem to make any sense.
Well, I didn't know it's limited.
Anyway, it's pretty windy up here.
Yeah.
Down at the beach, you can see these large cliffs that are made by I guess the ocean eating away at them. I'm not sure how those get created, but they're pretty neat, very big. These ones are very rocky too. Even though, I mean, they're very sandy, but they're the same type of thing you see on the East Coast. So, in case you were wondering, this is Point Reyes. And we're at the bay, the south part of it. So like what we're looking at right now is where the lighthouse is on the other side of that point. The lighthouse was closed off though, so we had to go here. But there was like nobody out, which seems foolish. Because look how nice it is. This guy was holding like something that looks like a metal detector, but on a closer inspection, he was obviously just holding a camera in a weird way. Like a camera on a tripod. Look at these birds. This is the music for the birds. I always think of this as like the hippie scale. The psychedelic scale. Mixolydian. It's just all about peace, good vibes, just experiencing can see if you look right close. There's a seal or one of those types of things. Yeah, the minor 5. That's the hippie chord. Oops. Can you see that seal thing? Or sea lion? Seal? Water buffalo? How do you tell the difference from those things? Obviously, I'm no zoologist or biologist or whatever. Sarah didn't want me to go any closer to it. This is our walk back. I always tell people that if you harmonize with like parallel sevenths or like a second, it's fine. You can do it. It just has to be an intentional choice. As long as you use it correctly, it's no big deal. But if it's not an intentional choice, then you're just playing nonsense, which is what I'm doing. I know you're probably thinking at this point, like, goes up by third there. Yeah, so when are we gonna get back to the Chekere making? Just be patient, you know? We'll get there. There's plenty of time. Well, I guess there's not plenty of time. Death does come for us eventually. I saw this movie recently. It's called You, the Living. And the whole entire movie was based on this quote that I thought was pretty cool. Let's see if I can find it real quick. It's like, You, the Living. So it's a Swedish movie.
A leap from the lion's mouth.
Oh yeah.
To prove his worth.
Sarah's gonna jump over this thing.
The eyes of God. Here we go.
Nice. Alright, so You, the Living, which is like Du Levande or something. Who knows how to speak Swedish, not me. Written and directed by Roy Andersson. The film is an exploration of the grandeur of existence. The basis for the film is an Old Norse proverb, man is man's delight. That's actually not what I'm talking about. So, okay, the title comes from a stanza in Goethe's Roman Elegies, which also begins as the title card in the beginning of the film. This is the quote. So it's, "Therefore rejoice, you the living, in your lovely warm bed, until Leth's cold wave wets your fleeing foot." Here, let me find the whole thing of that. I mean, this is basically carpe diem, you know? Seize the day, because you're gonna die, like all the rest of us. All the rest of us jerks. Okay, so here's the
Filter out the blue white line.
yeah.
It
So
looks like really green.
the whole thing is like, it's called Erotica Romana by Johann Wolfgang Goethe. It's, what is this, 24 different poems of varying lengths. So this is all these poems. So this one is number, I think it's 12. Yeah, it's number 12. They have them on Gutenberg. So, the quote, the full poem goes, "All those greats, Alexander, Caesar, Henry, and Frederick, gladly would share with me half of their hard-fought renown, could I but grant them my bed for one single night, and its comfort. But the poor wretches are held stark in cold Orcian grip. Therefore, ye, the living, rejoice that love keeps you warm for a while yet, until cold Lethe anoints captures your foot in its flight." I don't know how to pronounce some of these words, but that take on things really resonates with me, I suppose, because Carpe Diem is like, it's like YOLO. It's like the most useful saying because you can apply it to literally everything. It's like, you only live once. YOLO, which means like, it could mean like, be courageous because you only have one opportunity, or it could mean be cautious so you don't spoil your future opportunities. You can basically use it to rationalize anything you want to. But it's all of that memento mori stuff, just confronting our own mortality. It really puts us in our place with what we want out of life, no matter what that is. Here we're listening to the Lee, God, what's that guy's name? Lee something, Nanette? Lee somebody? He's probably watching this video right now saying, "Why don't you know my name? You purchased my album." Yes, here it is. The Lee Konitz Nanette, Old Songs New. I think I sent that to you in a chat message. I keep saying you, like this video isn't going to be viewed by millions of people. Well, maybe it is. Maybe I did send it in a chat message to everyone who's ever viewed this video. I can't tell the future, neither can you. Might as well speak in the past tense from the future's perspective. It could be true. It could be true. You could make an effort to make it become true. Anyway, here I am, back on the floor, back with my Netflix. We're probably watching Queer Eye at this point. They had released a new season, and it's rather uplifting television. Look, I'm not even done with the first row. This is like definitely many days later from the last... Oh wait, am I? What am I showing? The second row? Congratulations. You've made little progress. I can't imagine you want to watch me do this whole thing. At least not with 20-minute long interruptions. That seems like not a pleasant viewing experience, at least. Well, I'll keep going for the moment. I mean, I've already filmed this, so. Where's my roads? There we go. Play me some Bruce Springsteen. Sometimes Bruce Springsteen was like, just like. Sometimes. He's got his moments, though. Bruce Springsteen has got his moments, for sure. Alright. I continue beating the Chekere. Oh, look at me, I'm drinking white wine and watching Queer Eye. And beating. What am I doing? Oh, I'm sitting too low. Putting the cushions beneath me. If you have the proper height, then you maintain your posture and you don't get your back sore, which is super important. I'm realizing that this video is way too long. I'm sorry about that. But I would understand if you don't even watch the rest of this. It basically just is. I'll give you the summary here. You get to watch me do this several more times, I think. And then at the end, I have a little breakfast recipe, just as a reward, so as a treat. Might be new to you, but it's not new to me because I eat it every single day. Same thing, day in, day out. They say variety is the spice of life, but sometimes reliability is the spice of life. White wine could be nice, especially on a hot day. Although, there's something about white wine that is hard to... Like, the flavor profile of red wine is so much more... It seems more complicated. Like, it seems like there's a wider variety of possibilities. But they do say, they say that white wine, at least when it comes to, like, pairings with food, white wine is always usually better because, for whatever reason, like it's got that special magic. But, like, yeah, I was just thinking about how, when you have like a really, really, really good white wine, but then below that level of quality, it's really hard to even tell the difference between okay, beyond, so there's you can tell when it's really good and you can tell when it's absolute crap, but everywhere in the middle is hard to discern. Like there's distinct flavor profiles here and there, but in terms of the same type of wine from one to the next, from year to year, all the freaking variables that wine has, I find it hard to even tell what the difference is. But maybe that's because I'm just a loser, baby. So why don't you kill me? Why don't you train me on how to think about white wine flavor profiles, and then I won't sound like this when I talk about it. The amount of alcohol in a white wine probably makes a big difference in what people think about it. There's I heard this about, I forget where I heard this, but actually I think it was someone talking about red wine, but to a person that's a wine connoisseur or any kind of alcoholic beverage connoisseur, like a beer nerd or like a whiskey person, like your tongue is so attuned to the taste of alcohol, actually, so that like you will prefer something that has a higher alcohol content. It'll taste better to you, actually. Maybe that's not true for everybody, but something I heard. Also, something else I heard, this is going to be a video full of just hearsay, that alcohol is one of the few things that gets absorbed into your bloodstream directly from your stomach. Like, I think it's like water and a few other things, but like, that's why it's relatively quick functioning. Like you when you drink alcohol, it gets absorbed through your stomach. So like if you're eating and drinking at the same time, the alcohol is getting into your system before the food is, just because it goes right into your bloodstream from the stomach. Whereas like food starts getting digested, it starts getting broken down, but it doesn't really enter your bloodstream until like your intestines, I guess. Maybe this is all false. Could all be false. I'm no scientist.
What?
Here I am in the kitchen, wearing an Onkos sweater. So, this part of the video actually shows something in an unnecessarily lengthy fashion that you can do. So you can... I'm a couple rows in here. Several days have passed since the last beating video. But you can look at here. Watch me do this. I take that thing just right off of there, and you can continue just beating with it. So this is handy if you want to like go ride BART, or like go to your friend's house, which you're not gonna do ever again. Do you ever just like play random notes on a keyboard like a toddler? Or like you're sitting at the table, you can work on the gourd, the beating, without having to put the gourd somewhere. Like a toddler. Like a toddler. I remember this was like a song that I wrote when I was super young. I think it sounds like kind of a song. I'm talking about transcribing this piece for the show I have coming up this Thursday, which is 2 days from now. It's when I'm recording this audio. I'll just try to do 1 or 2 new songs when I do one of these types of sets, just because it's helps keep it fresh, helps expand the repertoire. I also we've really reached a point in the video where it's just gone on for too long at this point. There's no reason to continue any further. Unless you want the recipe thing. The recipe thing is coming up pretty soon. Just add a 9th to any minor chords, so it's fine. You can just go right there. Just add the 9th. Doesn't matter where it is. You can just go right there. Okay, finally, we are here, the recipe. The final segment of the video. Looks like this is at least 20 minutes of your precious time. Good thing I didn't edit this at all, right? Alright, so this green powder I'm putting in there is like a supplement, all natural supplement. That is cinnamon or turmeric? That's cinnamon. The other one was turmeric. And then some pepper. If it seems like I'm going a little heavy with these condiments, it's because I am. Because it's not only adding nutritional content and flavor, it's also adding a bit of a texture to the yogurt. And then that is molasses. And adding the supplement powder, I normally don't like to take supplements, but it can be helpful if you happen to be low in something. If you take like a supplement regularly, then it can prevent you from having like further problems from being low in something. Because if you're low in something, it can cause like a bunch of other weird downstream problems, and it would be hard to diagnose. And also there's something about, so that particular powder, I like to use that rather than take like pills because it tastes good. And somebody told me something once that I believe, that it's like, if you are able to taste your food, then your body is basically like evolutionarily, this is actually, I don't know how much of this is bullshit or not, but it makes so much sense. Like if you are able to taste your food, then your body knows what enzymes to prepare to digest it, because it knows what you're eating. But if you're just having a pill that's essentially flavorless, then you don't. It's like you're tricking your body. I mean, just like all this stuff is like,
in the club, what you have in the bag.
it's like doesn't even matter that much, right? Because the placebo effect is real. So it's like our own minds are capable of like controlling all of these aspects about our bodies that we don't even have conscious control over. But at least if you can taste all of your food, then like you're not trying to trick yourself. And if the placebo effect is real, which it is, then it's possible for you to have some effect over your unconsciously controlled systems like digestion. Just using your intentions. Now we're really getting into the psychedelic part of the video with my talking. I know what you're saying. You're saying to yourself right now, this looks fucking gross. How can you eat this? Just hold up. It'll look better in a second. By the way, it's the grape nuts cereal. I don't know if you can tell. Some golden raisins. We are in California after all. Everyone watching this video is in California. Everyone that will ever see this video is in California.
You better be sorry.
What do we got? I didn't edit this at all, which means that you're gonna have to listen to me wash these berries in sink and stare at this bowl of food. Oh, blackberries, there they are. Probably a couple more. Yeah. Alright. If it's not totally obvious, this helps keep you regular. You know what I mean? It's a lot of yogurt in there. I also added, by the way, I don't know if you noticed, I added coconut milk, just a little bit. It's mostly for flavor, but it's also for consistency, because oh yeah, banana. Gotta get your potassium. Get your potassium in there.